Greetings, everyone, everywhere. It's your girl Morg stopping you dead in your tracks. I'm your host, Morgan Martin, and this is the Morgan Martin Show. Now, as you guys know, dating can be hard sometimes. And if you try to go the non-traditional route, it can be scary. What are you talking about, Morgan? I'm talking dating online. But tonight, our special guest, that's right, we have two special guests tonight. They're going to tell us all the inside scoop about online dating. So without further ado, please give it up for my guests, Jean and John. Thank you guys so much for being on the show and saying yes to being a guest on the Morgan Martin Show. I'm excited to have you guys here tonight.
Mm-hmm. We're excited too because we've been talking about this for a while.
We have. And a lovely surprise for Uncle John. These are my people, you guys. This is my Auntie Jean, my father's sister, and my Uncle John. And they're here tonight to talk about online dating. So thank you guys for being an open book for us single folks out here trying to find that perfect match.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to be young to be trying to find that perfect match. I was 60 when I found John online.
That's right.
And he was 60-something.
Uh-oh.
He was just a few years older than me.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
So before we get too deep into it, tell us a little bit about who you are and what are you up to now?
Well, I am trying to return to Apalachicola, born and raised in Apalachicola, trying to return to Apalachicola, back to my roots. I was born and raised here, and I left at the age of 10. I've been going over 50 years, trying to return, and trying to bring my husband back down here.
That's right.
Well, my name is John, and I've lived in Culpeper, Virginia, and Washington, D.C., and Indian Head, Maryland, and all over the place. But she wants me to live in the country, but I don't know.
You're not a country boy?
I'm kind of country, but
a little bit. Yeah.
Not,
We'll take it.
Not,
He's a country boy. He was born and raised on a farm.
I wasn't raised on a
You
farm.
weren't raised on a farm?
No. I was born in the country, but not in the farm. There's a difference, you
Well,
know.
horses and chickens and cows and greens and collards.
We have chickens here. That should count for something, right?
Yeah.
It counts a little.
Yeah.
So talk about online dating. Now, that can be scary for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about some of the red flags. If we see this, next.
Yeah.
What are those things?
Well, for me, I was about to turn 60, and I realized I didn't want to spend the rest of my life by myself. So my circle, there wasn't nobody eligible for me. There was no one in my church environment, and I don't play and work in the same environment either.
Absolutely.
So I decided I'd venture online. So I went to eHarmony.
Oh, I thought it was blackpeoplemeet.com.
No, I did. That's where we met him.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
I started at eHarmony because I understood eHarmony make you evaluate yourself before they introduce you to a person. So one of the things that they guide you to do is 10 things you must have and 10 things you can't stand.
Y'all take it
Will
notes?
not tolerate. So that's what I did.
And you told me one of the things you didn't want was a guy who wore ugly shoes.
Yeah, I had a pet peeve of men's shoes. I like Stacy Adams. I like those shiny shoes. So even though John and I had met online, we had never physically met. But for me, it was like, if he had on some rough looking shoes and they were clean, this is not a go. So we got ready to date, we got ready to meet. He said, I'm coming in from work and I'll meet you, da da da. So once he told me he was coming from work, and I looked down at them shoes when they got out of the car.
And you see those Stacey Adams.
So I said, well, he did tell me he was coming from work, so he had on work shoes. So, but I'm glad you told me because he'd have come meeting me on my first time with them ugly shoes on. It would not have been a go.
So what kind of shoes did you wear that day?
Well,
They were work boots or?
No, I wear regular,
Safety. They were
regular
safety.
shoes, but I worked in all kinds of environments in my daily schedules. Where I would be in ashes, mud. Sometimes in the office, I wouldn't go out, but it depends on what I was doing that day, because I did a variety of things.
Well, I'm glad you passed the test. Tell us some of your red flags when you were viewing the profiles.
I just had no red flags, to tell you the truth. I didn't put it up there. I just find out what I'm a visual person, so I had to check it out what I like to look at.
But how do you trust, you see profiles all the time. How do you know if it's really that person?
You can tell.
You think you can tell?
Well,
Yeah.
we like I said, I went to eHarmony first to evaluate myself. But when I went to Black People Meet, you put in your profile what you're looking for. You kind of tell a little bit about yourself. If you're honest, you're gonna pick up a lie in a heartbeat. You can feel something when this person says something. And in my bio, I said, if I wanted Christian, if you weren't Christian, don't even bother to tweak me or hit me, because I wasn't interested in another religion. And I wasn't interested in other than a Black man, preferably over 5'10", has his own means, his own money, his own car, his own house, his own.
Absolutely.
I wasn't trying to take care of anybody.
Right.
So, what else do we have? I think, and someone that liked to go. Cause
Yeah,
I'm an outgoer,
you love to travel.
I love-
Always have.
And I was already, when we met online, I was in China,
Wow.
Xinjiang, China. And I told him that. I said, I'm a traveling person. I'm in China. So,
What did you think of that, Uncle John?
Well, she was there and I was here, and I didn't do that much traveling myself. It didn't bother me if somebody else traveled, but I didn't. I traveled every day. My job required that I go 300, 400, 500 miles a day. So it wasn't no big thing.
Yeah.
My only thing was that I didn't want a woman that smoked. Because I had health problems. My lungs couldn't take smoke.
yeah, and that was good there. And also that with smoking and drinking, that goes with the things you can't stand.
That's right. Those pet peeves.
Yeah, you can't stand smoking. I can't stand an alcoholic. I couldn't stand a verbal abusive person. I couldn't stand a person that did not respect me. And you can tell that just the way a person tweak you.
That's right.
And
The
they can-
language.
yeah,
How they
and
talk.
if it offends me, even though it may not be what they meant, if I felt something, I think I said something to him one day before we even met, because his handle was Fox Hunter, Virginia Fox Hunter. And I had just left Virginia at a real Fox Hunter event in Virginia. So I said, are you a professional fox hunter? And he said, yes.
Wow.
But then he says, I didn't misread his name, because he had Virginia Foxx Hunter. And I was thinking Fox. So that's what he was, that's why it was a play on words, but he made a joke out of it. So if he'd have said something other than making a joke out of it, I'd have said, oh no, I ain't
That
her.
ain't it.
But he made it funny.
They're close. Not
If
sitting in that
he'd
chair.
had three axes, I would have kept going.
Oh Lord. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. Well, you sitting in the chair today. You're a very easygoing person, and when I first introduced you guys on the show, I didn't say your last names like most people would say, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And here's why. Because you decided to keep your last name, and he didn't have a problem with it. Now, how did that conversation go?
Well, I've been Jean Alston for over 50 years.
Yes.
And I retired, and my retirement and all of my annuity benefits and insurance was in Alston. So if I had to change my name to his last name, I had to go to Social Security, I had to go to my retirement, I had to go get a new driver's license. And I said, does it matter to you if I keep my name? No, it don't matter to me. You're going to be the same person whether you're Alston or Holmes. So that just settled that.
Well, that's big, because there are a lot of men who think otherwise. They want their woman to have that last name. She's mine, So, I think that's interesting, because I've talked about this conversation with my girlfriends, that I would love to keep my name just simply because I do a lot of media work,
Right.
and it would be easier to keep the brand
Right.
if I keep my last name. So hopefully that special person out there, if you're listening, I tend to keep my last name. If you're looking for me to be a catch, that is one of my things. So
Yeah.
so Mr. John, Uncle
Yeah.
John, tell me a little bit more about how you can encourage other men if that is a decision that their woman wants to do, you know.
Okay. First, I
What'd you
want
say?
to talk about the fox again.
Uh-oh, we're
I
back
was-
to the box.
I was driving down the road one morning and saw this 2 foxes come up out of a hole out in a field as I was driving by. And so I said, "Dang, that'd be a good name." So I said, Virginia Fox Hunter. That's what I was in Virginia. I was seeing these foxes in Virginia, so and I wasn't hunting, but I was got them.
You were hunting, but not for foxes. That's all right there.
Yeah, but I guess in my travels, I was not looking for a whole lot in a woman. I'm an easygoing person. I don't like the argument. I don't like the
Amen to that.
hard, fast life that a lot of people carry each other through. Especially a lot of guys mistreat women so badly. And that's been always one of those things that I said I would never do. So I didn't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah. And after we met, I got to meet his family. You know, matter of fact, the first person I met in his family was his mom, and that kind of shocked me because you don't meet a person's mom, you know, almost the first date.
Yeah.
And but even though she had some health issues, but the idea that he took me to meet his mom, I thought that was impressive. That was very impressive. Then his family, he has 2 brothers and 1 sister, and they were kind of concerned because I'm Catholic
Oh yes.
and
yes,
he's
yes.
Baptist, traditional Baptist. So their thing was, well, Gene, what are you gonna do if John says you gotta be submissive to John? I said, as long as he's submissive to Jesus Christ, I'll be submissive to him.
There you go. And it's not like you had children you had to raise
No.
for that to be really an issue.
And that was an issue too. But I didn't want anybody that had children at home.
Yeah.
You know,
You're older, you're in retirement mode.
Yeah, come and go. No, and no pets for me.
Interesting.
I'm not a pet person because pets are like children.
They are.
You got to take them with you. You got to pack them up. You got to give them somebody. No, so I didn't want any, and he didn't have any, so that was a good thing too.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Check, and check again.
Yeah.
So no red flags. So tell me, how many profiles did you go through before you stumbled across each other's?
Oh shoot, I did a whole bunch of them.
He was on, now he was on.
What's the
forever.
lucky number?
No, I didn't keep that.
I did 4.
Four?
I did 2 on eHarmony, and neither one of them. After you can almost tell when you see a person coming, and if a person's late, I'm a timely person. So my very first date with the person on eHarmony, he didn't call me till he was already 15 minutes late. So that was like, oh. Now I drove almost an hour to meet him in a certain place.
Wow.
So 2 on eHarmony and 2 on, I met another guy before John, and I couldn't get to him because something was happening with my grandsons. And I called him and said, I can't make this, I'll do it tomorrow. So he threw up something like, oh, so you got somebody better? And I said, I don't even need this. I don't even know this man.
The energy is off.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. You can almost tell right away. The first time we went out out just as a local date, it was cold. It was January, I think, and we went up to the Shenandoah Mountains. And I had just came from church and my cute little thing on, and it was cold up there. I was trying to be cute, you know. And I went and whipped through that little suit I had on, and he took his jacket off and put it around me. No, I don't know whether you want this on here, but anyway, most men tend to kind of brush their boobs.
Yeah.
You know, kind of accidentally bump.
Yeah.
And he was so careful not to touch the front of me.
Wow.
And I thought
Very
that was
respectful.
very gentlemanly and very respectful of who I
That's
was.
right.
So some things you just know just by a person's demeanor when you're around them.
That's it. And what would you say was your first experience and your first impression was like?
I think I got mine off of that. I guess when I was looking at the black people meet, you could talk saw the pictures and stuff. I more or less figured out what this person is like by what they did on the video. You can tell when it's natural. Person, you can tell when it's natural. You can tell when the woman is even-tempered or to mean. She might be evil, might be drunk.
Bossy, maybe.
Possibly.
Possibly. But none of those things. That's really good. Would you say that online dating is for everyone?
Nope.
Or at least worth a shot?
You can try it.
I think it's worth a shot. And if you have issues, deal with your issues internally first before you start looking at somebody else's issues. Because sometimes the common denominator is the person that has the issue with the common denominator. You know. So know you and know what you want. Don't compromise on what you want. Don't settle. Sometimes we settle just to have a date, or just to have a husband, or just to have somebody in our life. Don't settle because you're worth more than that. Because if you settle, by the time you get settled, the other person is uprooted anyway and going on to something else. So just be true to yourself. True. And most of us, that's one reason I wanted a Christian person and a black man, because I didn't want to have to go to another culture. I mean, it's okay for those. I don't have nothing against. I just didn't want another culture because it's hard enough understanding a black man. And
you got that right.
If I had to go to somebody else, I'd have to learn a new culture, and he would have to learn a new. And I was 60 years old. I didn't want to learn that. It wasn't something I wanted to do.
I figured I would fit in.
Anyway, when I met his mom, I thought she was white, so I his mom was fairer than me, very, very fair. So I said, we got a white mom. No, but she wasn't. That's what I thought. But I wasn't marrying her. You know, I was marrying him. So.
Well, that's funny you say that, because some people feel if you marry that person, you marry the family.
You do marry, but you don't live with them.
Touche.
Yeah. And I'll just as direct with them as I am with him.
That's it.
If I gotta walk on eggshell, I don't go around you. Nobody. So if I can't be me, even if it comes out the mouth wrong, I can apologize. But if I gotta walk on eggshell not to say something, So you tell you something, girl. You know what he did on our wedding day?
What's that?
He left me. He left me at the wedding with the maid of honor.
Cut.
And oh my God.
Cut. Say what now? This is for real.
For real.
Okay.
I was out there just mingling and socializing. Next thing you know, I was like, where's John? Somebody's where he with the best man. I'm looking for the best man. Him and the best man gone.
Where'd you run off to?
Oh,
Oh, is that something she still doesn't know?
No, they went home. But what happened? The best man had to leave. So he was under the impression that the maid of honor was going to bring me home since the best man had brought him. I said, how in the world can you possibly leave your bride on the first day?
You did better on the first date than you did the wedding. I mean, come on.
Things happen.
He had never been married before, so I had been married before. So he had never been married.
Give me a slap on the wrist for that.
Tell about.
You didn't know.
No, you didn't tell about the wedding when she was.
How was the wedding and what was it? Because this was a private ceremony.
Yeah,
We had a nice crowd. We had about 50 or 60 people. Matter of fact, we got married 1 year after we met online.
Oh, it didn't take long. You know what you want.
We both knew we wanted a serious relationship, and after 3 months, we were talking, and I said, "How you think this going?" He said, "Well, we're still together after 3 months."
Right.
So I said, after 6 months, I need to have something to show me that it's okay.
That's it.
That we are committed. And he always, he's joking all the time. He said, "Yeah, well, I'm gonna give you a cigar band."
What?
A cigar band. I said, "Well, as long as it has the same commitment as a diamond,
It's got to be symbolic.
as long as it has, because you can give me a diamond, it don't have no value to it." So
True.
he gave me the engagement. 6 months, we got engaged. So it was like Thanksgiving of that same year, 2008, because we met in 2007. 2008 and Thanksgiving, I said, "John, end of this month will be a year." And I said I wasn't gonna date more than a year.
Right.
Oh yeah, well it's Christmas coming up, Thanksgiving, and it's Christmas, and then there's gonna be New Year. I said, I'm not talking about them people got children, talking about us. So we got married December the 27th, between a couple days after Christmas and a couple days before New Year's.
Wow.
But before that year was over, because if we'd went to January 2009, I wouldn't have married her. I wouldn't. I told him 1 year.
Wow.
So we had 1 week before the year was over. 3 days before the year was over.
You cut it close, but you made it.
Yeah, it wasn't a big thing to me. It was.
She was, you know, how women, you sometimes you have to know what you want,
That's
when
it.
you want it, and not be afraid to say it.
You do, and that's a good point, because a lot of women, I would say even me sometimes, it's kind of hard to be vocal.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't know how they're going to react and you don't want to mess anything up.
Right. Everything's
You know,
going good.
Everything going good. I don't want to be that,
Yeah.
angry person or the person who's always nagging. I want to make sure things stay.
Everybody's okay, but you
Yeah.
can't. You just have to be you first, and then you'll adapt. You'll adapt to other people's personalities and things that they do. And John is he doesn't like change too much, and I change all the time.
He's a routine person.
Yeah, he likes it. His mail, like he likes for it to stay right there until he get to every piece of it. Me, I look at it, that's junk. I ain't gonna read that. Tear it up. He wants it to go through because he likes to read everything, and that used to annoy me. Oh, he used to annoy me. Oh, really bad. I said, Lord, did I miss you? Did I miss you or this one? I didn't think about stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm hyper and spontaneous,
Oh, yes.
and John is methodical and even keel.
So we got an extrovert and an introvert. And you balance each other out.
So he keeps me kind of balanced. Sometimes I get mad first. I remember one day I got upset with him, and I was on my way to church, because I go to church sometimes in the morning. And I was on my way to church. I'm so mad with him. And I could just hear the Holy Spirit say, now why are you going to the church building? You know, left a mess at home. You need to go turn around, go back up in there, clean that mess up before you start coming to my house. And I told him that too, but I was mad when I told him. I said, I'm supposed to come back here and apologize to you, but I don't want to do this.
God had got out of you, and you still struggled through it, but you got it done.
Got it done. Yeah, he said, well, I didn't know I did anything to make you mad. Yeah, so.
You live and you learn. And it's been a good journey, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been good. Good for me.
That's good. And you guys both, so she talked about your family some. You haven't talked about ours. What was your first impression
Took me a
on
long
the
time.
Kardashians?
Took me too long to find out, figure it out. Took me a whole year to figure it out. I'm writing.
Yeah, he was
I come to town and meet
something.
a few. Come back next time, meet some more.
Yeah, he didn't meet everybody at one time.
And by piece of piece. Because everybody's kind of spread out. Like, yeah.
It's not like his family's right there in Culpeper, Virginia area.
Everybody's there.
Yeah, there's a knit family, and we're kind of like,
Yeah, we're all spread out.
he'll ask me,
Learn.
Yeah. One of the things I liked about John's in his profile, the question he asked is, what is this something you would do? What are you looking for in the other person? And his comment was, someone who can encourage me to do things I would not normally do. And I thought that was really nice. Oh, I'm her.
Her is me. I am she. That's me all day. That's good.
Yeah.
Simple but profound.
Yeah, so kind of work through that.
Kind of get you out the box on.
Yeah, get them out of
Explore life.
Culpeper. Get them down here in Florida.
Get you out the country for
Yeah.
a few moments.
Well, being in the country is just in the country. I don't care where you are.
Yeah.
And that's
Country goes with you.
Well, I will say one thing. We was talking about some of the things that he liked about me. After about the third month, when I said we're gonna still date, and he said, "Well, we've been dating for 3 months. I guess I like you." And I said, "Well, what is it about me that you like the most?" Well, I think you got potential.
That was it.
That was enough. Yes, she is.
You know, women, we want to have these elaborate explanations. You know, we want more, you know.
Colorful words.
We need this whole scroll of things of, wow, we are that perfect match, and he gives you potential.
Potential.
You know.
Yeah, potential. That was 3 months.
Yeah.
After 3 months. So I said, okay, well, you think I got potential? Okay. Yeah.
So you said you went on one date, just one, before him. Did you go on any before her that you met online that didn't go well?
One.
Just one.
Yeah. See,
It's not bad.
I've been dating since college, but you know.
Long time.
So.
It's been a journey. And how does it feel to be married? Because this is your first marriage.
Not much difference. Got somebody that there versus when I did things before was with me.
Yeah. And so now you have somebody to share those memories with.
Oh, I ain't worried about the memories. I'm worried about getting stuff taken care of.
Yeah, that's true. Now, you know, one thing that we didn't quite mention yet, and some, I know younger people may have this issue, or, you know, it's something they prefer about living together before marriage. Was that something you think is, you know, necessary to be on kind of like a trial marriage to live with that person?
I didn't. I don't think it's. I guess it's a personal choice. It wasn't for me. It wasn't a factor, but you know, you got to do what you feel is right.
Yeah. So it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
I didn't. For me personally, if I'm in my house, you might be able to come stay in me, but I ain't gonna move over there with you because when the rubber meets the road, you got to go.
Ain't no 30-day warning. Ain't no just out the door. Bags on the porch.
So it's just best for me never to do it. To stay with anybody or let anyone stay with me, you know, like that.
Yeah.
It's okay to go a weekend, take a holiday or something like that. I thought that was good, but to say, no, But number one, I had been married before.
Right.
And I had been, my son's father, of course he died, he died over 20 years ago. But I was separated and divorced for 30 years before I met John. So I had promised my Jesus, if I ever got married again, y'all send me to Chattahoochee somewhere, because I have absolutely lost my mind. But when I turned 60, I realized I did not, so like 30 years difference, I realized I did not want to spend the rest of my life by myself. And that's when I said, okay, let me start looking, because I'm not running in circles where I meet single men. I mean married men or people that got significant others, and I didn't want to do that.
Right.
So the online dating was good for me because I didn't have to do anything. Just I could read a profile. No, don't ping me. Don't ping me at all. That was one. That's one pet peeve. Don't ping me. Tell me you look pretty. Don't ping me. Oh, that.
Good morning, beautiful.
Yeah. Oh,
you know, all that sweet talk, all that.
Say something. Don't just ping. You know, and thumbs up, and you know that was.
So how many dates did you have before it was official?
Well, we dated. Well, number one, when I met him, I just came back from China. That was November.
You're still in China, weren't you?
No, I met you out back in D.C. at the house. I met you the first time at the house. That's when you had no regular shoes on. So I remember that's the regular shoes. The regular work shoes. But that was the first time because he came to my space. And all of my neighbors were there, and they said, "Who is this?" I said, "Well, we just met." "Oh, you better." But he was really good. He sat on the porch and just watched me and my neighbors mingle because I had just gotten back from China, and they had missed me, and so he just kind of fell in place with that. But that was the first date. The second date we went to the mountains because it was cold. Then third date I met his mom, and of course then I was a month later. See, I was traveling because every 2 months I travel.
That's right.
So, and I'll come back in 3 months and I'll meet him. So after the third month, I said, okay, how we doing? Good. 6 months, how we doing? Bling, bling, yes. And then another 6 months, you know, we were married.
That's good.
So it kind of worked the way I planned it, ladies. You know how we plan it. We have to do certain things.
Yeah, because a lot of women, you know, I know people who dated somebody for 10, 12 years, you know, never married, and then it kind of happens, but I guess there's no real timeline for one person.
Yeah,
It just depends
yeah.
on
Yeah.
what they allow. Or
Yeah,
what
well, yeah, what's good for you is not good for me, necessarily good for me. It's like gumbo. You can put a whole bunch of things in a gumbo, but some things you just cannot put in a gumbo.
Yeah.
You know, so even though it's got a lot of stuff in it, Italian seasoning ain't one of them. So you can't put Italian seasoning in gumbo. So I kind of look at it like that. I
That's
have a
good.
bunch of things, but everything, not everything. So
Well, that's good. Before we leave,
yeah.
give us all some advice of those who may be single or married about how marriage can be a good thing.
Marriage is good if you understand marriage. Most people think of wedding, and a wedding is a party.
One day.
It's a one-day event, and and like if I was just having a wedding, and my husband had left me at just a wedding. See, we may not be together now, but we were.
Yeah.
We had a marriage. As a matter of fact, getting back to marriage, I went to my pastor, and he went to his pastor, which was his brother. But my pastor, as a Catholic, I had been married, even though at that time my husband was, I think he was dead. So, but I told my pastor, I said, I'm marrying a Baptist, and I don't want to have to but our faith is so different but similar. I didn't want to have to struggle with Catholic Church and its rules and regulations, and I didn't want to have to go over here because I'd rather be in space. So my pastor, who was a priest, he says, well, Jean, there are 3 stipulations for marrying a non-Catholic, and he gave me all. But he said, the one I'm gonna give you is you invite me to marry you to John,
Oh.
and then John's pastor will marry John to me. So we had 2 ministers perform, as he said, not a Catholic wedding, not a Baptist wedding, but a Christian marriage.
That's good.
So that's what we had. So always talk to your pastor and believe in what he say if you're really trying to get on that one accord. But because you're gonna have bumps and tumps and talking to God. I ain't gonna telling God what you ain't gonna do, but but you'll get it right down the road.
That's it. You just gotta respect each other's differences from what I gathered from you, and also to just talk about it, have conversations, and meet in the middle, and you probably be all right.
And some days it's not always in the middle. Some days you have to go all the way to 100 to get to that side to pull this person back in. A lot of times, and I'm saying that because he does the 100 more than I do. Because he said, well, I didn't know I did that, and da-da-da. And he'll start talking, and I will say, well, that ain't what I heard. Well, I don't know what you heard. But whereas me, you get that little 20, no. So sometimes it's more than just in the middle. You want it to be 50-50, but sometimes it's 20-80, it's 100 to 0. So if you know it's 100 to 0, and he's for him, because he's an introvert, he deals with things, and verbal.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. What would you say?
Well, I guess you have to get in what you take out. You take out what you put in. It's like you put a pie in there. If you put a good pie in the oven, it comes out good. Most of the time, unless you burn it up or something. So you have to continue to
monitor,
to strive to do what's needed to make the relationship work. And it's an everyday affair.
Yeah, it's every day. Yeah, when you're married, it is every day. Even when we're apart, and I travel. First 10 years, I just finally retired 2 years ago. But the first 10 years of our marriage, I traveled. And people used to say, John, well, how come? Why you don't say anything about your wife traveling? He said, well, when I met her, she was in China. So traveling wasn't something that, me being away from him wasn't the norm. Us being apart was kind of norm for us because we were the traditional people that got married at 20-some years old and been together and raised children.
Right.
So he had a life, I had a life, you had your friends, I had my friends, and we just never needed, we were needy people. Some people
That's
are
good.
needy.
I don't like needy people either.
Yeah. So.
That's really good. All right, perfect match. We're out of here. Thanks for being on the show.
Okay, but
I've had so much fun and good conversation, and I'm sure the Morganites and everyone watching has as well. And if you guys need more marriage tips, Message them, not me, because I'm the single one here. Bye for now. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Morgan Martin Show. I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
That's going to do it for the Morgan Martin Show. Thank you guys for joining. Catch the Morgan Martin Show Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube Premiere. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube at Morgan Martin Media LLC, and don't forget to show some love on Instagram at morgan.martin.media. As always, stay tuned for more.